Ever feel like the world's getting smaller? Not talking flat earth stuff here,
Yeah.
but every time you order something online, it's like you're tapping into this massive global trade network.
Yeah.
And honestly, have you ever wondered about the people who make that whole thing tick?
Right?
Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into the world of trade development officers.
Okay.
We're ditching the jargon and getting you the inside scoop, all thanks to some insights from RoleCatcher, which you've probably heard of.
Yeah, for sure.
So what does a trade development officer actually do?
It's a lot more than just shipping stuff across borders.
Right.
Picture this. You're creating policies that influence how entire countries do business with each other.
Whoa.
You're analyzing markets, like trying to predict the next big thing and
Yeah.
making sure everything's all above board, legally speaking.
You're a mix of like economist, diplomat, strategist, all in one.
It's so interesting because when I was reading through RoleCatcher, what really stood out was how they described the day-to-day, right?
Right.
It's not just some, boring old office job.
Yeah.
You could be meeting with like government bigwigs one day
Yeah.
and then be talking to like, local business owners the next.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, you've got e-commerce and even like blockchain.
Right.
These technologies that are totally changing the game.
Yeah, you gotta stay on top of it.
Constantly evolving.
Absolutely. And e-commerce, it's not just about the big guys anymore,
Yeah.
Think about, like, that person who makes crafts. They can sell their stuff globally now. Or a small business finding customers across the world.
But here's the catch. As technology opens these doors,
Right.
countries are also getting, more protective, like of their own industries. So
Okay.
it's a real balancing act, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's where a trade development officer really shines, I think.
They come in.
Yeah, figuring out those tricky situations
Yeah.
and finding solutions where everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so before you run off and update that LinkedIn profile to International Trade Guru,
Right.
let's take a step back for a second.
Yeah.
Because RoleCatcher doesn't sugarcoat it,
Yeah.
They're very upfront about the fact that this job's not all, like, glamorous trips and fat paychecks,
Right.
which, it does have that.
It does. It does.
But are you ready to be burning the midnight oil and constantly having to, like, stay ahead of the curve?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher's not kidding around about how competitive it is.
Right.
But what I find really helpful is they also give you these like pointers on how to stand out.
Okay.
Like it's more than just having the right degree,
Okay.
which is important, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it's really about like the skills you bring to the table.
Right. So, okay, let's say you're, like, fresh out of high school.
Okay.
Maybe you're thinking, hey, international trade, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
What would be a good first step, according to RoleCatcher, to kind of build that foundation?
Well, they're big on having a solid academic background.
Right.
And I know what you're thinking. What kind of degree are we talking about here?
Yeah, because there's a lot of options.
There are a lot of options. And a background in, say, international relations
Okay.
can be super valuable
Makes sense.
because it gives you that deep dive into global politics,
Right.
trade agreements, all that,
Okay, so you're like a walking encyclopedia of diplomacy.
essentially.
That's pretty cool.
It's helpful.
But what about, like, the numbers side of it?
Oh, absolutely.
Because trade deals involve a lot of, economics, right?
100%. And that's where a degree in economics or finance, that's where that really comes into play.
Okay.
Being able to analyze market trends.
Right.
Understand those financial statements, negotiate deals. It's not just about moving products around. It's understanding like the why, the how.
The forces.
Exactly, the forces behind it all.
So you've got your degree, maybe even a couple of them.
Right.
RoleCatcher talks a lot about experience outside the classroom,
Yes.
which I think makes a ton of sense. But, like, what does that even look like in this field? It's not like they're just, advertising internships at the World Trade Organization left and right.
No, you're right. Those are a little harder to come by, but that doesn't mean there aren't amazing opportunities.
Okay.
Like, have you thought about interning at, say, a trade association?
Okay.
Maybe one that's specific to an industry you're interested in.
Right. Right.
Or how about volunteering? Maybe at a nonprofit
Okay.
that focuses on international trade. Even if it's just, helping them with their logistics or some research.
Right. Yeah.
Every little bit counts.
It's all about getting your hands dirty, actually applying what you've learned.
Exactly.
And I was also thinking, like, study abroad programs,
Oh, fantastic.
especially if you can swing it if it's like focus on international business or trade, that's got to be a game changer, right?
100%. Immersing yourself in a new culture, seeing their business practices firsthand. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
And it shows future employers you're not just, interested in the idea of international trade. You're ready to dive right
We're
in.
ready to go.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about internships, study abroad, all that good stuff.
Right.
But RoleCatcher also mentions certifications.
Hmm.
And I'm curious, like, are these kind of like those online courses where you do them, you get a little virtual pat on the back,
Right.
a badge for your LinkedIn profile?
Mm.
Or are we talking about something with a bit more,
Oh, these are legit. It's not just for show. It's like you're showing employers, hey, I've got like specialized knowledge.
Right.
The Certified International Trade Professional, the CITP, it's a big deal.
Right.
Globally recognized.
Yeah.
You get that. It shows them like you're serious about international trade.
Right.
The ins and outs, the customs, payment methods, all of it.
So it's not just like saying you know this stuff. It's like proof.
Yeah, it's proof.
Okay, I like it. So you're not all talk.
Exactly.
But RoleCatcher, they don't stop there.
They don't?
They talk about building a portfolio. And I got to be honest, I'm a little stuck on that. What does that even look like for a trade development officer?
Right.
It's not like you're designing websites.
No. It's more about, showing what you know,
Okay.
your passion, what you're into. Say you've been like really following a specific trade agreement.
Right.
Maybe even writing about it, analyzing what it could mean, like on your blog or something.
Yeah.
Boom, that's portfolio material.
Right.
Or volunteering at a trade fair, helping businesses figure out exporting, things like that, especially if you can talk about them, what you learned.
Right.
That's what makes you stand out.
So it's like you're really proactive. It's not just, I check these boxes. You're out there.
Yeah, you're engaged.
You're learning. You're growing.
100%. And you know what else RoleCatcher talks about that's so important?
What's that?
Networking.
Oh, yeah. Networking. Everyone's favorite.
But not those like awkward networking events.
Right. With the bad coffee.
Yeah, you know those.
Mhm.
With international trade, it's all about actually connecting.
Okay. So you're saying go to those like industry events. But how do you even I don't know, start talking to someone when everyone seems like so important?
Don't overthink it, Think of it as like you're there to learn
Right.
from people who love the same stuff you do.
Okay.
Trade fairs are perfect for that. You're walking around checking out new gadgets, new tech.
You're right.
You get to talking about the field with someone, the good, the bad.
Right,
You
right.
never know what could come from it.
So they say it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, especially in this global world we're in. And where RoleCatcher really shines?
Why is that?
They've got all these tools to get you ready for those interviews.
Oh, right, because those are important.
Huge. They've got this database, tons of potential interview questions, specifically for trade development officer roles.
Okay, so no more last-minute Googling like common interview questions.
Nope, you're covered. And get this, they've got this AI tool. It's called RoleCatcher Copilot.
Okay.
It analyzes your practice answers.
Oh, wow.
It's like having a coach,
Right.
giving you notes on like your pacing, your tone.
Okay, hold on. The AI can tell if I'm fidgeting during a Zoom interview.
Maybe not fidgeting,
Okay.
but it can pick up on things you'd never even think about.
Interesting.
It helps you put your best foot forward for any professional setting, really.
That's wild. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
The education, the experience, even AI for interviews.
The whole shebang.
And honestly, this whole world of international trade, it's fascinating.
There really is.
But it seems like things are always changing. New tech, new agreements. It's a lot to keep up with.
It is. You've got to be ready to adapt and keep learning.
So for anyone listening who's thinking, okay, maybe trade development officer, this is my path, what would you tell them?
Follow your curiosity. If there's something in the world of international trade, maybe it's sustainable trade, e-commerce, whatever, that really speaks to you,
Yeah.
dive into it.
Okay.
Because when you're passionate about what you're doing,
Right.
that's how you find success.
I love it. Find your passion. All right, everyone. That's our deep dive into the world of trade development officers.
Great talk.
Until next time.